in him too, and pain, and anger as a result of pain from the samples being removed. I was covering for him by not telling them of the anger, because then they would have followed an operant conditioning protocol that had been set in against him to penalize him. So I was actually protecting him.
So, but
he was a human being, for Christ's sake. I mean, if you get stuck with a needle enough times, you get perturbed. And when you're being treated like crap on top of it, a prisoner is a prisoner.
In what way was he treated like crap, as you put it?
If he wouldn't respond as they told him, they would fire a repress valve and change the pressurization in the clean sphere, causing mild to moderate intumescence, a change of pressure in his skin, because he was of lesser density, physical density, as in weight per volume, that density. And the reason why I'm clarifying that is I've heard a lot of new agey comments about fourth density and fifth. I don't know about all of that. As in weight per volume type density, he was less dense physically than we were. His bone structure was less dense than we were. So when they would fire the repress valve, or they would intumesce him, it would cause him great pain. And I was screaming no, and I think, the time that he stepped up onto me, I think they thought the better of it at the moment, because he was clearly training me at that moment. So if they would have fired the pressurization at that point, I would have felt the pain that he was feeling.
Right, because
killed me, I don't know.
You developed from what I understand, you developed, like the movie E.T., you developed the ability to actually feel his pain.
Well, it wasn't even developed. It was immediate.
Oh, it was immediate.
The thing which was developed, and I'm not sure. It may have actually been some sort of a neurological habituation. I'm not certain of that. But the thing which was developed was the inability to disentrain, to break off from him.
Even when you left the clean sphere? In other words, regardless of where you were?
Within a certain range, within, like a 15-meter range from him.
For example, right now?
I could...
Right now, could you feel his pain?
No.
If you wanted you to feel it, could you?
No, I don't believe so. I don't believe that they're capable. I mean, we're talking time difference.
Mm-hmm.
His lack of physical existence in our reality. And even if we're talking no time difference, we're talking about a linear distance of how far between here and reticulum. Good God. No.
He's back at reticulum now.
Yeah. As far as I'm aware.
Uh-huh.
As far as I'm aware. My stomach is growling. I must be getting hungry.
Right, okay.
As far as I'm aware, that's where he returned to. That's the best information I have. And frankly, from the time that when it happened in 2003, they don't even want to discuss the matter with me, because it's a real sore point. I did what I was not supposed to do.
You pushed him through a time hole.
I pushed him into one of the Stargate units. Yeah, into the gray patch between the posts. Yeah.
And that was the end. At the end of your relationship with him?
Well, that was the end of it. It's the last time I saw him.
I mean,
it was the end of their relationship with him too, which is why they're so pissed off.
Why were you motivated to push him into?
He asked me to. He told me he wanted to go home. He wanted to see his son. So I did.
So he was a prisoner, but at some point you were in a position. I'm thinking this was in Egypt. Somehow you guys were taken to Egypt.
Yeah, I was flown there. Yeah.
And so was he.
Yeah, but over a different transport. He was already present by the time of my arrival. There was a communication protocol going on. He was communicating something, and I was never really told. All I was told was that there was a problem with his communication, and they wanted me to be there to cause him to relax or whatever, to facilitate the discussion. And so they wanted me basically there as as an idola theatri, as an idol of the theater. They wanted me present. They wanted me there as a ruse of kinship with him.
And had you?
And the kinship was no ruse, and that's something that they misinterpreted, I guess, over these years, that I have more of a kinship with a present-day human versus him. And to me, although he was offset, although he appeared different, that he didn't belong, he's still a human being, and a human is a human is a human to me. So I had a true friendship with him. There was a true affection there between the two, because he was showing me things from his childhood, and I was showing him things from mine, and we were actually enjoying each other's experience of each other, a friendship. It was a true friendship, and I don't really think that Majestic ever regarded it that way. They feel themselves so damn superior, or that we're superior to them. And maybe it's a reaction. I don't know, maybe I'm rationalizing it, that it's a reaction to the P-45's feeling that we're inferior, the so-called rogues' feeling of us. Maybe it's some sort of a railing against that, or a reaction against that they developed the attitude. I don't know, but I know that I wasn't superior to him, and he wasn't superior to me. Much brighter, but we're still just human beings. And just because somebody is brighter than somebody else, it doesn't mean they're superior.
So I'm just trying to figure out why in Egypt he was there. I'm obviously doing some work with them.
He was there as part of a communication program that they had ongoing after our program, and way after, almost a decade.
Almost 10 years later.
Well, I mean, it had ended in 96, and we had some more briefings in 97, but that was about it.
So you're saying that this happened recently, that you pushed him into the Stargate?
It happened at the end of 2003. And, I could tell from the relationship with him that he was being honest with me. Now, again, there have been those that have criticized and said, well, look, this guy has 52,000 years along an evolutionary line, which does not necessarily make him smarter, but certainly not better. I mean, look at the pathology, but that he had the ability, if he was a human being, to lie. Mm-hmm. Yep. And we talked with each other about lying, and Majestic never knew that. But he told me about things which would be happening in the future, generally inconsequential things. And then there were some very consequential items. But some generally inconsequential things that happened subsequent, which told me not only was he from the future, that he had access to future material, because nobody could have predicted conversations, but that he was being honest with me as well. I could feel his heart. And that's all we can really do. They turned it into a joke on Coast to Coast. The Coast to Coast AM Challenge with Bill Burns and George Norrie. Will you step up to the plate and take this polygraph exam? No, because a polygraph doesn't work. If a polygraph worked, we wouldn't need juries. We judge other people, other human beings, by their honesty, by empirical data and evidence as well, but by their spirit as well. And the spirit that I judged him by was what I was feeling from him, from his heart, from his mind. And I judged him by his relationship with his child, by how he regarded his mother, by all of these things that we choose to